Whether you're married or single or poly or ace, or hanging out with swingers back at your place, listen to us as we give no fuck on Tinder and Bumble and plenty of yucks, trying and having no luck, because we all know dating kinda sucks. Sarah and Adam are two of a kind. He says stupid shit and she doesn't mind. They're not doing this show to make any buck. Life as a chicken whose feathers he plucks. Why does it work? Well, here is the crux. They both know dating kinda sucks. Dating kinda sucks.
Hi, I'm Adam Heath Avitable.
And I'm Sarah.
This is Dating Kinda Sucks, a podcast about dating, sex, and relationships. This week, we'll be talking about identifying cheating. Enjoy the show.
And if you guys are watching right now on YouTube, thanks for watching on YouTube. And be sure to subscribe to the channel and comment below if you're enjoying it and like the video and all of that jazz, because you guys are the only ones watching now. No one really watches, but let us know if you're watching.
Yes, one of the 5 people who watch our videos. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having our back.
I feel like years from now, when we've still been doing this for a long time, like people would be like, go back and be like, wow, can you believe what they're used to do on YouTube? Like, that's what it is.
So cringy, yeah, pretty much. And I love that you're on the road still. You have the bacon photo behind you. You're just living. Where are you at now?
I am in Clarksville, Tennessee for the next couple weeks.
Perfect.
Yep. So, and of course, yes, I bring the bacon photo everywhere I go, and it's all for TikTok. That's actually the only reason I brought it with me, but it works.
This is bacon. Yeah,
this is bacon
now.
Yep, exactly.
And I need popsicles in my shit now.
Yeah, we're gonna start working on your brand. Yep.
I was gonna do incels comfortable. That doesn't work for everything I do, so maybe everything I do just I have a popsicle in my mouth or in hand.
Popsicle or a banana or just it would just be hilarious.
That's me, because I realize everything that doesn't have to do with penises just flops on TikTok for me. So
just be the head girl, you know?
I don't want to be the head girl, damn it. I didn't sign up for this.
Maybe being the head girl is your, that's gonna be the thing, like
this girl and bacon boy. I mean, what the fuck is that?
Head girl and bacon man. This is hilarious though. Somebody just messaged me and said she's in Orlando and she was out. She messaged me yesterday. She was out with like some customers, or she's a bartender, and they went out like for drinks after she got off her shift. And the women were like in their 30s and they're dating or whatever, and they were like, she's like, yeah, I've been getting my advice from Bacon Man. And she's like, what do you mean? She goes, yeah, Bacon Man. And she pulls up her TikTok to show her friend who Bacon Man is. And she goes, oh yeah, it's Adam. I know Adam. But it was just such a random, weird like coincidence that now I'm Bacon Man.
Be dick sucking girl. God damn it.
I mean, you know what? Sometimes it's good. There's someone I follow. Her name is Haley in the House, I think, is her username on TikTok, and half of her stuff is about eating ass. And she just gets into it, and she'll just sometimes be telling a normal story, and then all of a sudden it'll just like turn into eating ass. Like she'll like it'll have a twist at the end. It's hilarious. And she keeps getting banned by TikTok too, which is funnier too.
Well, that's the thing is I'm gonna keep getting.
Why don't you don't actually? That's the thing is I don't think you should actually talk about sucking dick or do anything about sucking dick. I think all you should do is just be literally like make the visual something that looks like sucking dick while you're giving tips and talking, just like licking a popsicle and stuff like that, and then never talk about it and just let it be this thing that people are like, what's with the popsicle? You're like, what are you talking about? And just ignore it. It'll drive people crazy. I think it'd be hilarious. So that's my that's my suggestion for a marketing plan for TikTok.
All right. Speaking of TikTok, if anybody follows Adam, you might have seen, I think you also shared it on your Instagram, but you had a specific video where you were in a hot tub or a hot springs or whatever with somebody. And could you explain?
And if you don't follow me on TikTok, it's just TikTok /Adam Avitable. Very easy. but yes, I went to the hot springs, North Carolina, and it's this cool little place. It's this like private, you get to rent a private cabin where they pump in the mineral hot springs from like underground into your jacuzzi tub, and you get like 90 minutes of a free a sun deck and all this stuff. It's really really cool. And I went with someone that I met on Bumble, and as we were driving there, I was like, hey, I have this idea for a TikTok. All right, and I explained it to her, and she said, I'm in. Let's do it. So I'm just laying in the tub and like relaxing, and I say, "Here I am, just enjoying some alone time in Hot Springs, North Carolina." And then she pops out from the water, like facing me, like basically she'd been going down on me, and says, "Did you just say alone?" And that was it. It was just like it's like an 8-second video, and I'm so proud of it. It was so fucking funny, and she
So
was
did
so.
she suck your dick at the hot springs or no?
No, no, it was too hot to be honest. It was really too hot. Like at one point I was sitting there and I was like, it would be kind of sexy just to like prop her up on the edge and go down on her, like on the right on the edge of the tub. But it was literally like the water was so hot that we were both kind of overheating at some point. So I wasn't really I feel like I don't know. I feel like my junk was probably like just like boiling too. Well,
Hot
North
balls.
North Carolina is famous for hot boiled peanuts, so there you go. But it was funny, and yeah, she was totally down to do it. We shot like a bunch of takes, and it just like none of the timing wasn't really right, and she kept going, like she had to like keep taking deep breaths and going underwater, and then she'd pop up, and I was just like, yeah, that wasn't right. And so we finally did it. I was like, oh, that was perfect. And I went and checked my phone, and it hadn't recorded. So none of the takes we did recorded.
One more again.
And I was like, one more, and then that one was the perfect one. But yeah, that was fun. That was a fun little TikTok.
Is that all
Um,
you did, was just make TikToks with this random Bumble girl,
oh,
or
yeah, that's all we do. We just make TikToks now. That's
you
it.
just were like, "Hey, I just wanna hang out with you and make TikToks, nothing else."
Yep, that's it. I'm sure she got a little annoyed with it too because the same time that we were hanging out is when I had my like I don't know, a bunch of my videos started going really crazy, and so I kept getting comment after comment after. So like I was on my phone trying to reply to everybody and everything, and I'm sure she got annoyed with that. But no, we matched on Bumble a couple of weeks ago. Like now, time is such a weird thing that I don't know when we are or where. Like it's confusing. I want to say, God, I don't even fucking remember now. Like today is we're
What,
recording this on
2, 3 weeks ago? I feel like you guys
it
matched.
must have been 2 weeks ago because we recorded an episode.
Right, and you hadn't talked about her, hadn't matched with her at that
Hadn't
point.
talked about her because we recorded the episode, but like we were finishing up the episode, and so we couldn't talk about. Yeah, that's what it was we had recorded half an episode, and then we had to go finish the episode, and so I'd gone out with her during that. So this is actually while we were recording the last episode. We matched on Bumble. Met for lunch and went out to this little just like an Italian place in downtown Waynesville. And by the way, everybody's going to hear, just I'm announcing this, you're going to hear traffic driving by behind me because my Airbnb in Clarksville is right on like the main street, I guess. It's in downtown Clarksville, which apparently is very busy right now because I can just hear trucks and cars like zooming by like it's a fucking speedway. So hopefully it doesn't affect anybody's listening experience. But we went out to this little Italian place and had a couple drinks and had lunch, and it was just really we got along really well. We'd actually our Bumble conversation was really like just kind of back and forth, really good. She'd
Good.
actually done her research. She's also a writer. She's been working on writing for a long time. She actually used to have a very popular blog where she wrote when she was married, where she wrote about BDSM.
Oh, she was married too, okay.
Yeah, and she had like it was a big number. I wish I could say I remember the number, but I think she even in like her Facebook page had like 50 or 60,000 followers, and she was like made it on the news and stuff with one of her blog posts going viral and everything like that. So she used to do that, then she stepped away from it when she got divorced and everything. So she understood blogging world very well, which is nice because I feel like a lot of people I have to explain that to, and I have to explain why like putting out content is important to me and everything. She understood all of that. Like she was like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense. Like 100% makes sense."
Okay, okay, so
So that
click
was nice.
there.
Yeah.
Good.
And then so we went out, and it was whatever day it was. I think it was a Tuesday. And when we went out, I had to come back and record. So I told her that. So we came back, and then she texted me. She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we couldn't have like just kept staying out. Like I'm sorry that our date had to end." And I was like, "Well, why don't we go out for our second date tonight?" So she was like, it's like, sure, why not? I was like, I'll be done by this time, so let's go out. So you and I finished recording, and I found a place that does looks like they did karaoke and it was just a local bar downtown that she'd never heard of or been to. She was new to the area. She just recently moved, and I had never been to either, and so we went there, and I think we met at like 7:30 or 8, and we sat at the bar and just had drinks, and karaoke came. She told me she doesn't sing karaoke because she's too nervous, but I think me going up and singing and then
I
she was
was gonna
drinking.
say, did you help with that?
Oh yeah, I think because I was going up there, she was just like, "Oh, this is fun." And so she went up and started doing karaoke and actually
Aw.
had a good time. And we were there for a while, and then yeah, it was really fun. Had a great time hanging out with her. Like she's very sociable, much more social than I am too. Like she made friends with everybody. And she would like go outside to smoke, and she would all of a sudden like make like 6 new friends and come in. Oh, these are my new, like she just everybody. Whereas I sit at the bar quietly, and
But you
maybe
talk to people though. Don't say that you don't, but I guess it takes you longer.
yeah, I because I want to see who's worth talking to a lot of times, and and also I usually talk to the bartenders and become friends with them before I'll talk to customers.
Okay.
Is usually what how I do it. And so yeah, we went. We had a good time, and then I walked her to her car, and we made out for a while, and then I knew she had to get up really early the next morning, so I asked her if she wanted to come back to the place or not, and or I think I even might have said something like,
Mm.
"Oh, it's too bad it's too late for you to come back to the place." She goes, "Well, I wouldn't mind."
Oh,
So
fuck, okay.
so I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, then why don't you follow me back to the cabin?" So she came back to the cabin, and we sat on the couch for a little bit and chatted, and then kind of started making out and fooling around, and trying to decide how to talk about this sensitively. I don't think
Oh god.
there's really a sensitive way to talk about it, is there? Is she was like, "Well, just so you know, I'm a squirter." So she
Alright.
made it very clear. And I can't remember if she told me that before or after we were fooling around, and all of a sudden her jeans were like soaking wet, like to the point that I like it was like
You were wet?
crazy wet. Yeah, like basically like everything was wet. And so then we went into the bedroom, and yeah, we continued fooling around, got naked, of course, as one would do in the bedroom.
No, you guys kept your clothes on, kept those wet jeans on and everything, of course.
Stripped down, had some fun, and I have been with people who have squirted before. I've been people with who get have don't need any help with lubrication in any way. This is the wettest I have ever seen anybody get, and I've ever been in my entire life. I can just say that. And it was. I mean, it was pretty crazy, and it was something just
Did
like
you
I was.
slide out a lot? Were you sliding out a lot because of that?
Well, a lot of it was just.
TMI, but
I know, yeah, yeah. We're this is really getting into it. You can fast forward for 30 seconds if you don't want to listen to this, but no, well, I mean, I was initially we were making out, so I was using my hands, and like, and it's so funny to describe this, but like she came a couple times while I was using my hands, and I could tell because like quite literally it was like putting your hand under a faucet, like quite literally. Yeah,
damn,
just like water
damn.
running, and I was like, wow, and obviously she had a lot of the body language along with it too, but like that was the big part of it, and then when we had sex, yes, like at some point I did fall out because it was slippery, it was just like and it was just one of those things that it was definitely it took a little more wrangling at that point with sex when you're that wet to I mean it just did, but it was
Yeah.
an overall a fantastic experience. We both had quite a bit of fun, I will tell you that. And then yeah, I walked her to her car, and then I went and realized that there was no way I could sleep on that bed because this wasn't as something as just minor as a wet spot. This was an entire like swimming pool had been dumped onto the pool on the mattresses. How maybe I felt like it was the sheet was wet, the like the whatever fitted
Right.
sheet was wet, but under the fitted sheet. So this is like which by the way, this is my grandfather's
You were
bed.
fucking at your grandparents'
Yeah,
cabin in North
this is their
Carolina.
bed. Like this is their bed. Just so they
Turn it
have
off,
the
grandma or
I know,
grandpa.
yeah, yeah. Well, luckily, yeah. Grandma's dead. My grandfather, he's 92. He doesn't know what a podcast is. Thank God. But So under the fitted sheet was another sheet, which I don't know why that was there. So there's two sheets, and then there was a one of those egg carton things to make the mattress softer. You know, the thing that's like
Right.
6 inches of
A
foam or
foam.
whatever. Yeah,
Right.
and then under that was literally another sheet.
And they didn't have a liner, like a plastic liner
No, who has
underneath.
plastic liners on their mattresses? That's a weird
Some
thing.
I don't, but if
Yeah.
you're if you're insinuating that I do, I don't. But
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
saying,
That's a weird
I
thing.
guess that's more for if you have kids and they're wetting the
Yeah,
bed,
yeah,
you
they're
put
wet the
that
bed,
on
but
you.
yeah. So there were four thick layers, and after I took all the sheets off, the mattress was wet. So like
The
it
mattress?
soaked all the way through.
Okay, but how serious was the mattress wet though?
Well, it
Just
was
the
wet
spot,
enough.
was that the spot? The wet spot was actually on the mattress and everything else was soaked on top of it? Did it
Yes,
just kind of
basically.
permeate down and then
I think it just permeated down from us because it was in the area where we were laying on the bed too, like where where we were sit where the crotches were. It was in the crotch area, the
at
crotch
what
landing
point did
zone.
you realize that when she left? Were you just gonna jump right back into
Oh
bed
no,
and
I
then
knew it.
go
I
to
could tell
sleep?
immediately just because I could tell how wet it was. So then, like, I was like, "Well, I can't sleep here." So I pulled the sheets off and I threw them in the laundry. And then I saw the mattress was still wet because I was gonna just throw a sheet on it to go to bed. And I was like, "Well, shit." So then I like patted it down with a towel, and then I left the fan on high, and then I went and slept on the couch for the night because
Oh
literally there was
damn.
no way to sleep in the bed. Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was a definitely it's one of those things I always look at like this will be a story for my memoir someday. Um,
And I slept on the couch, but I
and I
got
slept on
laid.
the
Cool.
couch. Yeah, it had been a while for her. It had been a while for me, so it was nice. And then we continued to chat. We went out the next night too, I think, to a different bar that also happened to have karaoke. Stayed out, went back to the house, but this time I was prepared.
Oh, did
This
you
time,
put a plastic sheet on the bed or what
no,
did you
this
do?
time I made a sex bed in the guest room. And I
Oh, you don't want to
stripped the
fuck with
sheets
your
off of the
sleeping
bed
bed.
and I put 4 towels down on the mattress, and I was like, "We can have sex here." And she had made it clear that she was, considering staying the night because she was like, "Oh, well, I told my daughter that, I don't since I don't have to be at work till noon the next day, that I might not get home till the morning." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, it wasn't something I was expecting, but I'm also not used to sleeping with somebody, so so we we went out, had a good time, and then went back to the house, and this time we went into the guest room, and she said she's like, well, I've been listening to the podcast, and by the way, yes, she will hear
That's
this.
like some Jersey Shore shit though, when you have the smush room. So you literally pulled a fucking Jersey Shore and had a smush room and then the actual room that you sleep in. That's what it
Yes,
is.
that's basically what it was. Yes, but I did it out of
I love that for
practicality.
you. Love
I
that.
did it out
Well,
of
yeah.
practicality, not out of anything else. We needed that. And she's like, I've been listening to the podcast, and you've talked about how you enjoy oral and going down on women, and have gotten good results. So, and she's like, so I
Now's
was
your
like,
time to shine.
let's go and do it. And so yeah, so yeah, we fooled around, went down there, and we had sex again, and it was good. Equally, but this time I was prepared, so it was fine. And then we went to the bedroom and actually slept in the the non smush room, as you called it, and went and slept in there. Except I could not sleep. Like it's been so long since I've had anybody sleep in a bed with me
You were
that I
on
just, yeah, I wasn't comfortable. It was nice, like it was actually nice having the intimacy. Like we cuddled and we were like spooning, and
for
I
five
like that.
minutes though.
Huh?
Like 5 minutes though, and then you want your space.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like for me it wasn't even 5 minutes. Like I can actually sleep like that if it's not bad when I'm used to it, but I was so not used to it. And so I think in the middle of the night I woke up and I was just like, I'm just not like doing this. So I went and slept on the couch for a while. And I think like a couple hours later she came out, she's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I just can't like sleep like this. I'm just not used to sleeping on a on a bed with someone." But I went back to bed with her and
Yeah.
fell back asleep for a couple hours. So that was good. Um and yeah, and then yeah, she left in the morning and had a good time. And then I've seen her a couple times since. We went to the hot springs together. We went out a couple other times, and yeah, and really like had a lot of fun. And it wasn't just about sex either. Like in fact, those were the only 2 times we had sex. The rest of the time we'd spend time together, and either like we just make it out or whatever, or like she just ended up having to work and things like that too. She has a pretty busy work schedule, so I'd kind of play around with whatever her schedule was available. Um, but yeah, so it was really nice, and I think she felt really kind of disappointed that I was leaving, and I was disappointed that I was leaving too because I
Yeah.
really got along. She seems like somebody that I could see like actually spending a lot of time with and really enjoying myself, and I'll be back at some point to that to that area, but that is the one downfall is when it's easy if you just meet somebody that you're just like, oh yeah, just like someone you're just gonna bang and leave, but when you
But
actually
you
get along with
actually,
somebody,
yeah.
yeah, and you like chatting with them and stuff like that, it's like, oh, this is too bad. Didn't expect that to happen. So that was that was a surprise. But yeah,
So
all in all,
everything's downhill now. So now you're in Clarksville. You have a worse place that you're staying at. You don't have any prospects. You're there for a shorter amount of time.
yeah, that it's
And
all
now it's
hectic
all
from now on because basically it's like 2 weeks here and then a week and then a week. So I'm like I'm not now because I'm really trying to start my Kickstarter campaign for my next book. So that's my big goal. But here I've got a potential photo shoot with a model scheduled and a couple other things. But yeah, it is downhill. Even though it's a very nice Airbnb I'm in, like it's actually it's beautiful and well put together and all that. It's not the same as the cabin up in the mountains.
right.
I will say, like, she came over for 4th of July, or actually it wasn't the 4th of July. I think it might have been the 5th or whatever. I don't know. Whatever day, like, the people did fireworks, and we watched a movie. And she, as it got dark, from the mountains, from where we were, we could see like 6 or 7 different towns below us,
Wow.
all in the valleys, and they were all doing their different fireworks celebrations. So, like, from our vantage point, you'd be like on the left would be over, you'd be like see like these fireworks go up in the air, and then like in all in the valleys the lake was doing fireworks. So like you got to watch all of the fireworks celebrations and all their big finales without having to, like, it wasn't loud, it was just like really kind of cool, like watching all, it was almost like watching a war because like you just see like explosion explosion explosion, and then like all
Yeah.
across the town. So it was actually really really neat. It's probably the best fireworks experience I've ever had as well.
Why would you say whatever day they set off fireworks? It's 4th of July.
But it wasn't actually the 4th of July that they set them off, I don't think.
I guess everyone was doing them 4 days this
I
year.
don't
And
remember. Yeah, I don't know what day. I can't remember what day. It seemed like fireworks were going off constantly for like 6 days straight.
yeah, I agree.
But
But cool.
yeah, that was nice. So yeah, now I'm in Clarksville, and I'll be.
On the road. And you get to see me next week
I
too.
know, I know. I'm gonna have to drive unless I make you drive to Clarksville.
I'm not driving to fucking Clarksville, so that will not be happening, but I would love to see you in Nashville. I'll be staying with Master of None for a little bit before we go on our next little trip.
Well, speaking of which, let's hear about it. What's going on with you guys?
So I'll be back in Nashville for a week, and then we're going up to Maine to stay at his family's cabin. So I'm going to a cabin in Maine, and we'll be there for a little bit. And then after that, I'm going to be back in Nashville. And then we're still trying to figure out this whole moving in situation. And it's just expensive right now to move in because of summertime. So we're kind of delaying that a little bit. But I don't know. Let's see. I guess lately I was feeling a little insecure about, it's stupid, but I was feeling a little insecure about my relationship with him because he used to go up to the cabin with his ex-girlfriend of 7 years.
Uh huh.
I wouldn't say every year because I don't know, I didn't really pry anymore, but I know that he's been up there with her, and his sister would bring her ex-boyfriend, so it was more of like a family trip with everybody's significant others type of thing.
Right.
And since I met him, he's always said, that was the first place he wanted to go when the pandemic was over. So obviously, Maine is a really special place for him. But we were talking about, of course, we're talking about sucking dick, but we were talking about taking trains in the
No,
Northeast.
you.
Me, never. But we were talking about taking trains in the Northeast, and he made a joke about, yeah, I've never had my dick sucked on a train. And then I was like, wait, where else have you had your dick sucked in a car? Trains, planes, and automobiles? Where else have you had your dick sucked? And he was saying, no, not a boat, but I have had my dick sucked in an airplane. And I was like, the fuck in an
It's
air?
like it's like green eggs and ham. I have not gotten head on a plane. I have not gotten head on a train. I have not gotten head. Sarah, I am.
I have not gotten head on a train. Yeah, pretty much. So he said that, and I'm thinking, who the fuck would have, how? And he was like, well, if you sit next to me on flights, maybe you'll get to suck my dick. Ha ha ha. And then he explained that he went on a really, and I already knew about the trip that he took with his ex-girlfriend of 7 years, but I guess on their way back from Japan, she sucked his dick on the plane, and he said it was the most uncharacteristic thing about her. very unexpected, whatever. And he started laughing. And I don't know what fucking got to me, but that just really fucking hit a nerve with me. And it just really bothered me and made me feel really insecure because I know that, this was a couple days ago. I know that I'm going up there. I'm not trying to compete. Obviously, I'm not competing with an ex by any means, but I've been hearing a lot about, memories that he's had up there with her. And then I hear this story and I'm like, am I not I suck. I don't know. I suck. I was just like really down on myself. And I was like, I don't know why I'm so fucking in my head, but I just feel like he's talking a lot about her. And then I haven't done those things with him yet. So then it's like comparable. He's trying to compare stuff to me, but he's not. So I was just in my head.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, I think that now it's time for you to make new memories because I know that when I would take like people to, I'd be like, oh, I took like previous girlfriends here. Now I want to show this to you because I want to make this is something that matters to me. I want to
Right.
share it with you. So it's even though I shared it with other people, it doesn't make it less special. And unless you get up there and like in the foyer is like a 16 by 20 portrait of her, I think you'll be okay.
That's true.
Um,
That's true.
so and you've seen him, right? Because he came down and visited for a week.
Yeah, so he did come down and stay where I'm staying in Florida for a week. He was able to meet my family and everything was great and it was great when he was here, but this was after he left for whatever reason. I was just feeling really insecure about it and he was like, "She sucks. Why are you?" He's like, "I'm just telling those stories because, it happened, but I'm excited for you to come up there." And I don't know, I was just really in my head the past couple of days thinking about, well, why am I not enough? Which I am, but I don't know why that just really got to me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
And I
but you're
talked to him
just
about it and
I'll say
we're
you said, well, I'm glad you talked to him about it, and your trip was good, so there wasn't anything that gave you insecurity about the trip either.
yeah, no, and we're solid. I think honestly what's been the most challenging is how we communicate since I've been gone because I still don't feel like he says I love you as much as I say it to him. And it's not a fucking competition, but I've
Right.
been kind of taking note of those things of when we get off the phone, if I don't say it, he doesn't say it, or if I don't text goodnight, he won't text goodnight, period, you know? And it was compounding on those things weren't happening. And then he starts telling a couple stories about his ex. And I'm like, damn, I know it's only been a couple days since you were just down here in Florida, but this is kind of hitting me hard right now. And I'm
Yeah.
feeling weird about it. But
Yeah.
I've discussed those things with him and he's aware. And, he knows how I've felt about those things. Obviously, I didn't say, I don't want you to talk about your past anymore or whatever, but in the same breath, just try not to bring it up as much when we're up in Maine, I guess. I don't know. I think I'm fine now, but just compounded, it just really fucking got to me.
It'll be easier when you're actually face to face with him too, if he talks about stuff like that, because you're actually with him,
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know. But I think it's a good, maybe a good reminder that sometimes talking about your ex can affect somebody, even if you don't mean it that way, even if your intentions aren't to do anything. That sometimes people can internalize it in their own ways, even if they have a healthy relationship. That's good for people to be aware of at least as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm just been in my head thinking, well, I don't talk about my ex that much. So what if I did, would that be an issue? And it doesn't,
Yeah, but I think if you had an ex of 7 years, you probably would talk about it more.
and that's exactly the point is that was a really big part of his past, someone that he lived with. And, you know, I I need to do a better job of not having the comparison game of what he used to have because he doesn't want that and he's with someone he wants
Right.
to be with and there's nothing to compare. Point blank. So what
Yep.
the fuck am I doing? Whether that's and it's not like I was looking at old photos going, "Oh, she looks this or whatever," but it's just a fucking energy suck and it's never going to make you feel good. So
Well, now it's
I need
time
to
to
cut it
create
out
new memories that he can, talk about, with you. And so apparently, I think your next thing to do would be maybe to learn how to squirt.
or just suck his dick on a plane. I thought that's where you're
Well,
going to go
then
with
that
this.
should no, because that's been done. Now you need to take it to the next level. Just
Squirt
I think squirt.
on a
Yeah,
plane?
squirting's the next. Squirt on a plane. Yes, it's like it's the
Not
sequel to
snake.
Snakes on a Plane.
I'm tired of these motherfucking squirters
Fucking
on this
squirts.
motherfucking plane.
Oh my god.
Anywho,
What the hell? That is ridiculous. Um. So Well, that's good. Good news. And so you're going to see him in
I'll
a
s
couple days.
Yep, so I am driving back up to Nashville, and I'll stay with him for a little bit.
Am
Yep.
I going to meet him? Is the question. Did
You
you
know,
ask him if
he
he's going
did
to come out?
I don't think he's against it. I think he's against if we do record an episode, he's against being in that episode, if
Okay.
that was
Okay.
something we wanted to do, but as far as you meeting him, I don't think he's gonna be against. We're all vaccinated. He's fine
Yep.
going out. I don't see why he wouldn't, as long as we don't have to
Okay.
drive to Clarksville. That's the catch. We're not
I
driving
won't
to
make you
fucking
drive to Clarksville.
Clarksville.
I should make you drive here during the day, and we should record the episode here. Actually, if we're going to record, because
I have
I
a
haven't.
job. What the fuck?
You don't have a job.
I do have a job. Yes, I
You just bring
do.
your laptop and do your job, and then we could record during your downtime. I guess we'll see. We'll play it by ear.
It's gonna be my first week at my new job, and you don't have a job. No, I
You
have a
don't have
job.
a job. Job, whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I definitely, yeah, would definitely like to meet him. It'd be nice to finally meet him after all this time.
Yep, pretty much. Because he
Especially this
knows if
last
I'm not. Oh, I was gonna
Hey,
say
what?
he knows when I'm not talking to him, I'm talking to you.
Talking to me, you're right. Yeah, I know I have some Nashville TikTokers who want to get together too. So I might try to coordinate that while I'm here as well, and just find a place. Although I really didn't like any of the bars that we went to when I was here last year.
You went to the shitty places though,
I
and
know,
during a
like, well,
pandemic.
because everything was closed. Because I mean, I just want to find, like, I like dive bars, but like they were all like tourist dive bars and they're
Yeah,
tourist
where
bars.
you went was you went to Midtown. You don't want to go to Midtown. You should go to Dino's. Is in East Nashville. Dino's is a divey place. It's a divey restaurant slash they serve some kind of alcohol. There's dive bars around.
Yeah, yeah, I
It's
have
still
to
not
figure that
cheap
out.
though. Everything is expensive in Nashville. So,
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
mhm.
Well,
Well,
we'll figure it out, and then we'll have a good episode to talk about because I'll have finally met Master of None, and that'll be cool. I'll be able to talk about that.
yeah. Are we ready to break then? And talk about cheating when we get back?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is a good time to break. We've all talked about everything. I think we're caught up on what's what life has brought us, what life has thrown at our faces recently, and what life has
Squirting and squirting
squirted
on
on us.
planes.
That's
Yep.
right. There we
Mhm.
go. And so I think it's a
That
good
sums
time
it up.
to take a break. And when we're back, we'll talk about recognizing the signs and identifying the signs of cheating.
If you've been listening to this podcast since 2018, you already know that Adam and I are dirty cheaters who suck. And yeah.
Yes, we are. We're dirty, rotten cheaters. If you have been listening from the beginning, if you haven't, you can't go back and listen from the beginning because Sarah did not like the audio quality of our first 5 episodes.
We weren't
So
as polished. We weren't as polished, let's just say.
we say now that there's like
We're
cars
still not
behind
that
me and there's
polished, but we
birds
were
and
blessed.
thunderstorms, whatever. Yes. So we actually archived our first 5 episodes, and episode 2 was about cheating. You can actually still find them on Patreon, by the way. Just they are still there, available for download, but that's the only place they are right now. Maybe someday we'll re-release them, remastered edition or some shit like that. Who
God,
knows?
why? This is basically that episode is we decided, hey, let's resurface this topic. Let's bring up other examples of cheating and micro cheating. We've done an episode on micro cheating, but I still think it's an important topic to talk about in a different lens.
It is. And to give you the context, if you are relatively new to the podcast or relatively new to my life at least, when I was married for 10 years. No, it's getting so long I can't remember how long I was married for now. Married for
God
9
damn.
years. You know, and had a very unfulfilling sex life during that marriage. And my ex-wife was my first that I ever had sex with, and I didn't realize that it was a unhealthy sex life until I started to maybe realize that I was kind of missing something, and I ended up cheating on my ex-wife with my best friend, and we had an affair for a while, and then I realized that it was not something that I really enjoyed about myself, that I did this, that even though I was glad to find out what good sex was, which was very important and very helpful to who I am now, I didn't like that I had lied and then that I was cheating and all of those things that came with it. And so it kind of really changed who I am, because I resolved after that I never wanted to cheat again. I never want to be the person who would lie again. I always wanted to be honest. I never wanted to be in the position where I might cheat on somebody. That I was going to be enough of an adult that if I was unhappy, I was going to talk to that person first. And
Right.
so that did kind of affect my whole life, and it's a whole giant story. Like, I literally can talk about the saga of my marriage and
Please
the
don't. God,
affair,
please no.
and
No.
the I know, and the impact on the blogging community, and just the whole thing is like, literally, like, I could probably do a 90 minutes talk just on that, because it is that crazy of a fucking story, that that'll one day be in the memoirs. I'm mentioning the memoirs again. It's all going to go in the memoirs. But yes, so I did cheat. I'm not proud of it, and and who I am now is as a result of cheating, because I decided I wanted to change to be a better person, which I think is the important thing to walk away from if you ever do something that's wrong. And then and your cheating wasn't as bad, obviously, because you weren't married and things like that. And you didn't have a 9 month affair with your best friend while you're in the next room while your wife was traveling.
Right. I think, okay, just to summarize that short synopsis of a would-be 90-minute story, you were cheating because your sexual desire, you were lacking something in the sex department, and you
Yes.
were disconnected from the relationship,
Yes.
wanting something else. So those were
Yes.
your two main factors. Where for me, I had a fear of the relationship continuing and the next steps of that. So I had been with my partner for over 2.5 years, still in college. And I just had this fear of, I'm never gonna, I didn't really have the true college experience of fucking around and sucking a
Right.
bunch of dick and doing whatever. It was, I sucked one dick and then I sucked his, and then it was like, we're gonna get engaged after we both graduate and get jobs and whatever. And I knew what the path was going to be in the next 6 months. And I think it really scared me. At the time, I didn't really know what it was, but I went on a cruise and I made out with someone. And then I was like, fuck, why the fuck did like, not even thinking, why the fuck did I just do that? I'm in a relationship. And I bawled my eyes out and was like, I'm losing my shit. And then I got back from the cruise and I was flirting with other people in my class in college and made out with someone else too. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? This is not okay. And then we finally broke up. I didn't sleep with anybody else, but it was the fear of the relationship continuing down a path that I didn't think, I wasn't 100% ready for, that I was like, well, let me
Right.
just
Right.
fuck it up by cheating so those things don't fucking happen. And that's exactly what happened.
Little self-sabotage, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, I went from having basically sex once every 6 months to having like sex 3 times a day, and then
Mhm.
and being like, like, this is what I've been missing my entire marriage. I've been missing this, and I know I can't have it from my ex-wife. It's that passion isn't there, that connection isn't there. I was like, I will never have that. I want that. Like, I want the safety and intimacy that I have with my ex-wife. Like, I like that part. Like, and the healthy sex life. So that was like, I need more. And so that was definitely two different, very, very different motivating factors for both of us. So cheating is a topic that we both are aware, and so we're not
We're shit people, garbage human beings at your
garbage human
fucking
beings.
service. Hey,
That's
what's
right,
up?
garbage human beings. That's right. It pops back in. We haven't used that phrase in a while.
We haven't. But you
Um,
know what? We've learned from those mistakes. We've owned up to them. We've, you know, moved on and
well, that's part of
hope.
it is owning up to it, because I think obviously we talk about it publicly. We're just out here and saying that. And the people that I know who were the most judgmental about when I had my affair, and it came out in the blogging community as this giant controversy. The people who were the
Woo.
most judgmental
Our
were the people with
bloggers?
the well, yeah, they were bloggers, but they were, yes, they were bloggers, but they were also the people with the most to hide. They were all people
That's
who were
so true.
projecting. They were people who had done shit that they didn't want anybody to know, because it was funny. Sometimes I'd be like, wait, I know you fucked that other blogger's husband when you were at that blogging conference. I heard about it because you came to me for advice, like, but they're being judgmental of me.
But that's because the spotlight's not on them and they want to make sure it stays the fuck off them just in case those things get uncovered. So they're going to ramp
Yeah.
your shit up 10 times more.
Yep, and they would trust that I'm not gonna all of a sudden come out and
I
screenshots
mean,
and
that's
all that
pretty
stuff.
wild, but yeah, I mean,
Because I would it's not me to do that. But yes, so
yeah,
yeah, so I think the big part of like us talking about cheating is that first of all, we don't judge. People cheat for a variety of reasons.
right.
And I think that there's one type of cheating that I find despicable. And neither you nor I were kind of that type. And that's the serial cheater. That's like the person who is just a disloyal piece of shit. Like the person who doesn't really care about their partner. They just keep doing it because they just have no ability to ever commit to anybody. Like, and they're not willing to try to change. They are constantly, like if it's not, they don't care who they're cheating with, is what it is. It's not
It's the
the,
rush of cheating and the feeling of knowing that they're cheating.
and
Yeah,
just maybe the
it's also
hatred of their relationship or something. Yeah.
and the low self-esteem. Those types of people, I feel like have the low self-esteem where they're like, well, no one will ever really love me, so I'll just keep cheating with other people, and that will be my excuse for never being too connected with anybody. Because
That
oh,
might
no
that might
one
add a
wants
little
to
more
love
to
me.
depth, a little too much depth to them, I think maybe, but I
No,
don't know.
okay. I don't
I don't
know.
know, like, because I think sometimes it's just like you feel like whenever you have that serial cheater, the person who, like, the guy who is married and then cheats on his wife and gets married to the mistress and then cheats on her and gets married to the next mistress, like that type of guy who just like continuously, like, is on always cheating. You can never trust him and everything like that. That's kind of like a legitimate garbage human being. Like we
You
know
should
we
go to
joke about it, but
therapy. Yeah.
he
There's
should go to
something
therapy
there's
or
something else lacking. It's not a
yeah.
relationship issue, it's a psychological issue that probably needs
Yeah.
professional attention,
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Therapy would be a big part of it, but they would have to be honest about their problem first.
which they
And a
wouldn't.
lot of it is a lot
Yeah.
of it's based in misogyny a lot of times, or they think that she deserves it. Well, they're just, like they treat women as kind of objects. So what does it matter if you're just trading one in for the other, et cetera? And those are the types of people that have that phrase, once a cheater, always a cheater, comes from. But I think
Yeah.
that we know that that's not for every case. There are sometimes cheating happens and it's a once thing and you're once and done.
Yeah, I think that's an oversimplified way to look at cheating is once a cheater, always a cheater. Like you
Yeah,
have the scarlet letter. Once you do it, you're forever fucked and no one should ever want to date you because you're a cheater. But like look at
right.
both of us though. We have both done things that we're not proud of that we've cheated and we've had other healthy relationships and learned from them too. It doesn't necessarily mark you as being someone that no one should ever want to date.
Absolutely.
You'll only
I,
never wanna date them if they don't solve those fucking problems of why they cheated and address those issues, where we've both addressed what we were lacking in those relationships to go, "Okay, we need something different in the next one," or, "We need to address those issues before we date someone else."
exactly. The personal growth, the need to and the attempt at least on personal growth is important. I think it's one of those things too where a lot of times, when people like they cheat, it's out of a need for something, and if that need can be fulfilled, and or they can kind of grow and they can become better, that's all very healthy, and that's part of kind of accepting that we're all flawed. Um, I used to, on first dates, I would actually talk about it because when I first started dating, when I was first divorced, I mean, it was fresh. I was just freshly divorced. So I would be like, yeah, I've just got divorced. And usually my date would be like, so what happened? Well, why did you get divorced? Because it's a good way to screen out
Yeah.
somebody to find out. And I would tell them the truth. I would be like, all right, let's dive into this one.
Let's see
Let's
if you
just let's
this is a
just
red flag for you or
let's go
whatever
right in the
you
deep
can't
end.
handle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of them I'd be like, explain how that really changed my perspective on things. And I'll tell you, I never found, and especially in the beginning, anyone once again who's been listening for a while would know that in the beginning I was dating a lot of people at once too. I went through what I call the trampage, where I was just basically anybody I could date or bone. I had a spreadsheet with like 14 names on it of the people I was talking to at the same time, so I could keep track of who had which kids and all that stuff. During our phone
Terrible.
conversations. Yeah, it was
Terrible.
terrible. But during those periods, I never had a single person say, "Oh, the cheating thing," and say, "Oh, I can't talk to you." Not a single one of them were like, "Oh, that's yeah, you're a cheater. I don't want anything to do with you." All of them were uh, extremely sympathetic to the fact that sometimes you're just in an unhappy relationship and you do the wrong thing to get out of it. which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of where I was. I did the wrong thing to get out of it when I should have just talked to her and told her I was unhappy and ended it on my own terms, and then done whatever I wanted to do. I chose to, you know, start having crazy, amazing sex for like 6 months. So
Yeah, six months is a long fucking time. A long fucking time. Did you feel at what point did you start to feel guilty?
we felt guilty from the beginning. Like at the
Oh,
very
okay.
first,
Okay.
like from the beginning, she was just like, "We're terrible people," and I was like, "I know." She goes, "Like I I love my husband," and I was like, "And I love my wife, but like," she goes, "But this is I've never had this with anybody," and I was like, "Me either." Like, she's like, "So let's just keep
Keep
doing
doing
this,
it.
and we'll stay married. We just won't tell them, and we'll get all fulfillment out of this." Because she had a good sex life with her husband, but it was very just basic and vanilla, and like she didn't even like going down on him and stuff like that. But like I was
She
the
went
first
down
person
on you?
all the time, and it was one of those things. She was like, "I've never done this before. Like enjoyed it. Now I actually enjoy it." Yeah, it was a
Huh.
weird thing. Um, but so we felt guilty constantly. So we set rules, like, well, okay, we have to make sure we spend time with our family. Like we're not gonna, leave ever like not spend time with our family when time comes up. We're never gonna have sex in the marital bed. So
Wow, I didn't know you guys had rules like that.
yeah, so like we always had sex either in our guest room at my house, or on the floor or on the
Another
couch
smush room. Another fucking
or
smush room.
yeah, well, or the couch or the porch or the pool, like wherever, like basically everywhere but the master bedroom. We did have sex in the master bathroom one time, and that was she was like, "I feel like this is almost breaking our rule." I was like, "It's not the bedroom. It doesn't."
Close, but not yeah.
And then at her house, we never had sex we had sex in one of her kids' rooms one time. We had sex in one in their bathroom on their living room in the living room all the time, but never in the master bedroom. Yeah, so we had some rules that really were
We're
made no
adults.
sense.
We had rules when we were cheating. God damn it.
Yes, exactly. But when it came out, it was kind of a relief because we knew that at some point it was going to have to, because we would talk about that. We're like, what's going to happen when this comes out? We're like, well, it can never come out. Like, that's it. That we'll keep doing this and nobody will ever know. Like there's that TikTok, like, who's going to know? Like, who's going to know?
Yeah.
They're going to know. And then her husband found out by accident.
I mean,
Because, yeah.
uh,
Well,
I was gonna say, I mean, I know people who cheated, got pregnant while married, and already had other kids, and lied and said the fucking child was his, and then
okay.
let
So,
that lie continue for, I don't know, 10 years, and then finally confess.
holy shit.
Like,
Now,
that's fucked up shit in my family friend group of shit. Oh, yeah.
it's funny you say that because one time we were having sex and the condom broke.
Oh, God.
And yeah, and she's like, and she said, she's like, "I'm really fertile." I was like, "I'm really worried about this." And so I said, "Well, I guess we have to go get Plan B, and or whatever." And she said, "Well, if it doesn't work, I'll just tell him that it's his." Like she legitimately said that.
Oh, God.
After all
That's
the
some
affair, by the
to the
way.
grave shit. That's some to the grave shit
Oh,
that
I
you
know.
just oh my god.
And I made
That's
it
so
worse
bad.
though, because after the affair, I actually turned it into a bit on stage when I was first starting stand-up comedy.
You
Or
monster.
or I was like, she goes, "I'm really fertile," and she goes, "But don't worry, I'll tell my husband it's his." And I was like, "Well, we'll try Plan B." And she's like, "Okay, what if Plan B doesn't work?" And I was like, "Well, we'll try Plan C." And she was like, "Well, what's that?" And I said, "I'll push you down the stairs." And
Fuck.
I know it was a
I'll grab
really
some hangers. I mean, what that was the
well,
joke.
that's the thing. And then I was like, well, I actually had a whole bunch of plans. So like Plan Q was like a spoonful of peanut butter and an anteater. Plan X was like a one of those claw machine claws. Like I basically like that was my bet, and I was very quote unquote edgy because I was a brand new comedian. So of course I had to get edgy. So I had this bit as part of my main 5 minutes that I did on stage when I first started comedy. And after the affair was over, she and her husband actually reconciled, and we all became friends. Like he actually ended up being like he was just like, "Hey, listen, I can't be angry at you. If I'm willing to forgive her, I should be able to forgive you. This is my fault too." Blah blah. So like it was all part of this. But then I had a show at the Improv, and I think they came, and she got so pissed at me because she's like, "How do you think that makes him feel? He just heard you say that I was about to, if I got pregnant, I was going to tell him that it was his." And I was like, well, it's a joke. She goes, he knows that it actually happened. Like he knows that there's
Ugh.
truth in there, you know? Yeah, that was not something I considered. That was pretty shitty of me. And I feel bad about that.
You're like,
I
well, I
didn't
didn't
cons-
expect you to show up to the show, so that one's
Yeah,
on you.
I didn't like think this through that you guys would ever be watching me do stand-up comedy at the Orlando Improv. You know, like I never thought that, you know, my little 5 minutes that I do at open mics would end up somewhere where people would see it and it'd be on YouTube and stuff too, you know? Like I never really thought that either. But yeah, so your story, she was willing to do that at that point, and because she was so worried about keeping the secret.
Fuck. I mean that's next level toxic ass fuck. Oh
I don't
god.
think I would have been okay with it though, because I think that if I had actually had a kid with her, I would have wanted it to be mine. At that point, yeah, I totally would have wanted it to be mine.
Mhm.
So, but so yeah, I don't think I would have been able to keep that secret.
Mm. What do you think about people who cheat to get revenge on their partner?
I think that is just as toxic as whatever their partner actually did to them.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, it's not healthy. If you really want revenge on your partner, why are you with them?
That's exactly how I feel is, "Oh, I'm gonna get back at them by fucking somebody else." So then
Yeah,
why fuck anyone else? Why don't just end it?
yeah. I mean,
What are you gaining that you're still I
it's
don't
like
know.
this
It's an
movie.
inevitable gonna end.
It's like it's something out of a TV show or a movie where you get to be like dramatic and you get to like prove your point by cheating on them, and then you end it. But if you don't end it, then it's even weirder. I don't really understand that either.
You keep it a secret and then yeah. I don't know. A lot at least because it happened when I was early on, first relationship type thing. I felt like it was just for me a big immaturity of not being able to communicate what I was afraid of in the relationship. And instead of just confronting the issues, I just
Yeah.
said, fuck it. Let's get physical instead because eventually this will bubble into a big problem. But right now I'm just going to fucking ignore it.
Well, you know, I think that the thing is, if you're like trying to get revenge, you're like, well, they cheated on me, so now I have to go cheat to get like, so we're even.
Oh
And
God.
then now we've both done something we're not proud of. I mean,
Why are you together? Why are you
I
even
guess
fucking together?
I guess there's maybe a weird like there's a weird justice there. Like now you can't hold it against each other. You're like, well, we both did this, and now we're both equally guilty. And so like I understand maybe the psychology behind it. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's a smart thing to do, but maybe I understand why someone might like think that and be like, well,
Yeah, but
this is the
someone's
only way to be even.
actions yeah, but someone's poor actions shouldn't lead you to have other poor actions
Right. Yes, exactly.
just to
Because
hurt somebody else.
yeah, because then the people who are like then you're using someone sexually to like get revenge, which I feel like that's kind of improper as well. That's like that's not necessarily healthy sexual behavior regardless. If you're like just trying to use somebody to make someone else feel bad.
Been there though.
Yeah.
Fuck.
You know, what do you feel about people who aren't cheating but they're enabling someone else to cheat?
Issue.
Issue? Like I'm not sure how I feel about that.
They're enabling them to cheat in what ways?
Well, like for example, like when I was single, I would have like bloggers. A lot of times, there's a lot of married women bloggers who are very unhappy, and I would have a lot of them were very flirtatious, and so sometimes they wanted to hook up. And I would usually tell them, well, you know, if you're unhappy, like you need to talk to your husband. Like I don't want to be part of that. And if a lot of them are like, listen, I know what I want. Like I don't, there's no fixing the marriage, but I'm gonna stay married just for the kids and for the house and all that. And I want what I want. And so I'd be like, okay, like I'm single. I'm not doing anything wrong. Like I'm not gonna police your morality,
I
whatever your
say
choice is.
that's a no. The flirtation thing, I think Master of None and I have had this conversation about flirting of it's just a natural thing
Yeah,
that everybody flirts in some way, shape, or form, that it's a natural human interaction, where I've talked to other couples and my one friend in particular is like, if he even flirts or talks to another girl, he knows that's off limits. He knows whatever. And I'm like, that's pretty controlling, but I'm not in your relationship. So if it works for you, it works for you. I don't recommend that. But the whole, well, I'm not the morality police, so you can suck my dick or whatever. You still know at the end of the day you're doing something wrong. You're involved in it, even though you're not the one
but
who has
I'm
to
like, there,
deal with the
she, you know,
consequences.
she's an adult. She knows what she wants, and like, who am I to? say, well, that's not right, like that's always been something that I've wrestled with. I think as I've gotten older, I've gotten less willing to be involved in that. But when I was first single, I was like, sure, like I'm not doing anything wrong. I've already suggested that you talk to your spouse.
Eh,
I've already,
yeah,
I,
you
I
have, but
remember
you're still the body that's participating in that, though. I don't know. That's a no for me. That's you're in the wrong in my eyes if you acted in that knowing. If you didn't know that that other person was in a relationship
sure.
and you just met them and whatever, then yeah, your conscience is clear. But knowing all those other issues and then you still go, yeah, well, I'll still fuck you or whatever, I disagree.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things I've always kind of felt a little ambivalent about. I mean, I understand why it might harm the other party, like not the person you have sex with, but the spouse. In the long run, if they choose to do this and it's like they're an adult, it's almost like, well, okay, you're gonna find somebody maybe. So I guess I'll participate with you. And in the
Treat
long
others
run,
the way you want to be treated. Do you want someone
oh, that's a good philosophy there.
do you want
That's
someone
true.
doing that
That's
to
true.
you? I mean,
That's true. That is true. I
karma's
remember.
gonna get you again. If you say, "Oh, not my problem," whatever, it's gonna come back and bite you in the ass a couple years later, and then
I haven't done that in a long time. That's been years.
I know
But I
I'm
do.
just making sure you learn. That's all.
Yes, yes. I do remember driving over. I was in Vermont for a wedding, and I drove over the border to Ottawa, in Canada, and the Canadian Border Patrol was like, "Are you here for business or pleasure?" And I was like, pleasure." And because I was only driving over because she had rented a hotel for the night just to basically, yeah, hook up with her. And he was like, "Oh, okay. What's the purpose of your visit?" And I was like,
Sex
to
thing,
to
sir?
get laid." Yeah, like
Actual
I'm
pleasure
meeting
border
with a
patrolling?
woman. Yeah, and he's like, okay, can I have her name? And I was like, no. And he's like, I need her name. Why can't I have her name? I was like, because she's married. And like, this guy was just not happy with the whole thing.
What the fuck?
I know.
Why didn't you just say
Just
to see Ottawa? I don't know. Any other
because
lie,
I
Adam.
don't know, because I was just like, it was just the weirdest thing. So, and I eventually gave her name, and like, and so I'm sure somewhere, like
There's a
if you
record that you were
there's a
fucking
record
her.
of the Canadian Border Patrol logs, and it's like, Adam Avitable crossed the border at this time, reported that he was there to have sex with, I'm not going to say her name, but to have sex with her, blah blah blah, was informed the Border Patrol that she was married or something like that. Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah, that's probably somewhere. Who knows? And now it's out in the airwaves, but
I know. Maybe there's a Border Patrol guard who can pull up those old records from 2010, 2011, that period. um, so, well, there's obviously there's a lot of different types of cheating. I think we're talking about this, and you just said something that I want to get back to, and that is if a guy so much like your friend who's like, if someone
right,
so
right, right,
much
right, right.
as looks at
Flirts.
somebody.
Or
Yeah,
yeah.
that's that. And you say more power to you. I say that sounds unhealthy and toxic, because there's a general rule among people, like whatever works
Very
for
controlling.
whatever parameters you identify in your relationship, and whatever that's considered cheating, then that's okay. I don't necessarily agree. I think sometimes people might identify toxic parameters, and their partner might be so afraid of losing them that they agree to them.
Yeah, well, it's too late for this specific couple that's
Oh, is it?
at this point, yeah, it's too late for them to change those ways, I think. But yeah, obviously I agree with you. I don't think it's the most healthy setup of you can't flirt with anyone and you can't talk to anyone and it'd be weird if you were texting someone of the opposite sex late at night or any of those things, but those are the boundaries that they put on their relationship and they're both pretty conservative, so that's cool with them. Where for me, I'd go, "I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just talking to a friend or, being friendly." You know, it's a mindset thing where some people think if I'm in a relationship, they're in this I mean, it's healthy. In my mind, it's healthy and unhealthy, but for other people, it's this is how a relationship functions. If you're with me, you're not fucking looking at another girl, you're not fucking flirting with another girl, we're not going to a strip club to get like nothing, nothing or it's over. And then on the flip side, it's okay, we can be cool with opposite sex and be, whatever and have
Right,
open
right.
communication. It's just two levels of I guess it works for them. It's not a relationship I would personally want to be in, or you would want to be in, speaking for you, but
yeah, obviously.
those
Yeah.
exist though, and those dynamics work for some people. It would not work for me.
I still think that sounds toxic. It sounds
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
because it's built on insecurity. It's built on the fact that, like, they would try to argue, well, I just think it's disrespectful for someone to just have whatever's natural urges, and
That
then
is
not
the
and then
argument. Yep.
and to trust them, like, to actually, if you trust your partner, what does it matter? Like, why would this be something that would bother you if there's no chance of it leading to anything, that's inappropriate? Why is it okay? Like, the idea that sending a text message to someone who's the opposite gender in the late night or whatever is somehow wrong, or getting like, if the text message is, hey, blah blah blah, hey, I just watched this movie, you should watch it, like something like that, and someone gets mad because it breaks that they have these such strict, parameters, that then you feel guilty for doing it. So then what happens is, when a small infraction happens,
You lie.
you
You
lie about it
hide.
because it's so extreme that you're like, oh, she's going to be pissed, I can't do that, like, I can't tell her about this, even though nothing actually happened.
Yeah, and you feel like you're cheating, and then it boils into more shit that you
Yep.
feel like you need to hide, and then it's a bunch of problems. Yeah, no, I
Yeah, it's a
completely agree.
slippery slope. It just spirals
Yeah.
downhill completely, and it's one of those really, really weird things that I think that, people should really check their insecurities. There was a TikTok that went out I find that my audience on TikTok tend to be women, almost entirely, and most of them tend to agree with most of what I say,
Mhm.
because I tend to be very heavily, pro woman, heavily feminist, in what I say. But one that a lot of them did not agree with me was this woman saying, if your significant other likes pictures of models on Instagram and shares, comments on photos of models on Instagram, is that okay? Yes or no? And I was like, are they fucking the models on Instagram? Because unless they're fucking or trying to fuck the models, then what is the problem? Like, and maybe it's because, I have a lot of friends who are models, who are sex workers, who are, who pose. I mean, I take photos of models too.
Right.
Like, so for me, like, liking them and loving their posts, like, actually, like, heart reacting and commenting for support and sharing their stuff on my stories, is just part of being their friend.
Depends on the comments. I don't have an issue with the liking as much as the fuck are they commenting that's
Yes.
problematic. If it's the fucking water droplet emoji and a handful of peach emojis, then I think we have a problem. But if you're just saying, "Hey, love whatever," and you're not being
Right.
creepy and you're being supportive, I think that comes from a different place. I think it does matter what the comments are.
Oh, no, no, the context definitely matters. What you're commenting. If you're commenting, "Oh, this looks amazing," or something, that's one thing. But if you're like, "Ah, I wish my dick was inside you," then yeah, that's a problem.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know if I guess people probably do comment that.
Check my fucking TikTok
That's true.
comments,
Yeah, you,
bro.
you get you get shit
Those
like that all the
comments
time.
do exist.
So I think it's one of those things that it really does depend on the context. But if your initial reaction is just, regardless of the context, that you're just anybody, the guys who like or follow models on Instagram are cheating, that they're shitty and it's not allowed. I think you have to scale back a little bit. Like, let's just take a step back and look at what else. Are they only following, like, bikini models, and that's all they follow on their Instagram? Okay,
Well,
well,
then
that
it's like, can they look at porn? I
right.
mean,
Well, then,
it
like,
just
maybe
goes down
that's
that
just their
rabbit hole.
porn. But then there's this whole idea, well, there's porn, but then these models are more approachable because they're just, because there's this whole idea where the porn is somehow not approach, like, somehow those aren't human beings, they're porn,
Right,
that's porn.
right.
But these are human beings. But no, they're all human beings, and these models aren't going to want anything to do with these people who are,
Thank
liking or
you.
commenting anyways.
Exactly. They don't want anything to fucking do with you. Nothing.
So it doesn't really, like, that's not going to matter. So I really feel like it's, if you have a partner that you trust and there's no reason for you not to trust them, then it doesn't fucking matter what your social media is. And someone said, one of the commenters said, well, even if you like their post, that shows up on the feed of you liking them. So you're basically projecting to the whole world that you think this model's hot.
So you
And
think they're hot?
and
What?
I
Who
don't look
fucking
like that.
cares?
So then it's all about then, and so which then again, I don't look like that. I'm like, well, that's where the insecurity comes in, because it's nothing about them. It's the fact you don't look like the woman. So now you're like, oh well, I don't know. Maybe if you don't look like the woman, then maybe you're not. You're projecting your own insecurities on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, it's funny. Master of None and I, we're cool with saying they're hot or whatever. We actually have this thing where we went to the airport and he was like, they're airport hot. Do you think she's airport hot? He's airport hot, where it's a different level of hotness when you're at the airport.
That's
So
funny.
we were like calling people out going, yeah,
Right.
he's totally airport hot or whatever. But with the NBA finals going on, Master of None's really into basketball, and we were talking about the Suns and Devin Booker, and I think Devin Booker's fucking hot. And we were talking last night on the phone, and he was like, "Yeah, you're hunk of a guy, Booker," and I was like, "Fuck yeah, daddy, Booker!" Like it's stupid, you know?
Right.
But he could do that with a girl, and it wouldn't matter, you know, because that's just how our relationship is. We're not gonna fuck someone in the airport who we both think is airport hot. We're not going to, you know, we could call out someone being attractive just because they're attractive. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't mean cheating. That doesn't mean we're gonna message them or I mean, and they're not even gonna respond even if we fucking did, but we wouldn't do that. I think it brings a fun to say, oh, that person, I mean, commenting something with those
Oh
emojis
yeah,
that I
commenting
mentioned
something
is a
sexual.
different
Yeah, yeah,
level.
yeah. That's different. That's
But
inappropriate. But
but being light and flirty with saying, "Ooh, I think they're an attractive couple," or "Ooh, whatever. What do you think of them?" or "What do you?" I think it adds a fun element to a relationship where if you didn't have that, you're very boxed in with you're the only you're the only person I can have eyes for, and I'm locked in on you, and that's just not reality, in my opinion.
yep, I agree.
How dare you watch Magic fucking Mike then, you know? If he can't like someone's Instagram photo, then don't fucking watch Magic Mike. Don't fucking think any of those male celebrities who have 8-packs are hot then, Brenda. No, can't do that.
And yeah, I mean, it's very true, and I think it's the I think if you what happens sometimes if you're so insistent that someone's behavior is bad when it's not, that you're like because your insecurities come up so much, you can drive people to actually cheat because they're like, well, if I'm going to get called for cheating just for
Might
like
as well do it.
for doing that, well, what the fuck? Like, why am I not, why be honest? Why be loyal or faithful if you're just going to continuously tell me that I'm cheating? And I think so. You do have that risk of driving someone to do something they normally wouldn't do because you're so insecure about things. So I think the insecurity, and I know everyone always gets mad at me whenever I talk about insecurities too, because they're like, wow, it's not all insecurity. I would say most things that affect relationships are affected by insecurities of one person or the other. Whether someone's too insecure to talk about something, they're insecure about how their partner will take it, they're insecure about proper communication, they're insecure about sharing emotions, they're insecure about their baggage, they're insecure about their looks. Like whatever it is usually something about that they're not confident in who they are and what they have to offer. And that either that's the person who's doing the bad thing or the person who's judging them for them.
Yeah.
So I'll stick with that.
I don't think you have to, because I'm just thinking me being insecure about Master of None and his stories about the ex and whatever. I didn't share that right out of the gate of, hey, I'm feeling insecure about this. I kind of let it simmer for a little bit and went, is this worth is this a real feeling that I'm having, or am I just being weird about it in the moment? Is this worth having a conversation about? Maybe it is in my head. And a lot of the times when you're having those insecurities, it's really not that big of a fucking deal. It's a I don't know. It's nothing. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And on to the next thing because we're solved. Fucking problem solved. We're good, you know?
When we tend to internalize these insecurities, and when you internalize them, they gain more power. Like getting them out into the
Absolutely.
open and talking about them, then you start to realize that they're really not as strong as you thought they were. It's just when you internalize them, you just they keep building up more and more, and you start arguing your head about it. You
Well,
start
you feel
overthinking
right.
it.
The more you
Yeah.
think about it, the more you're right that yes, this feeling is valid. Yes, whatever. And then you never hear the other party's side of, oh no, actually this doesn't matter. Oh, you're fine. Yeah.
Although sometimes it is a good idea to trust your gut. I think if you have all the evidence in front of you that someone's cheating, don't let them gaslight you as well. You were just
Absolutely.
telling me about a friend of yours too, right? Who had that happen?
I mean, so my friend has had a gut feeling for a couple months that he was cheating. And I was like, no, I don't,
How long have they been together?
yearish.
Okay.
So she just felt insecure about him taking a boys trip or whatever the case was. And she was like, I just feel like he's gonna cheat on me. And I'm like, but what has he done that you think he's going to cheat on you. She's like, I don't know. It's just a feeling. I don't know, whatever. And then actually the other day, she happened to see his phone, not looking to go in his phone. Like they were like wrestling, non-sexual or whatever, but they were just like goofing around and his phone was open and she saw a message that said, I love you from another girl that she's never met. That's not a sister or family member or whatever. And she immediately was like, who the fuck is this? Who the fuck? I don't know about this platonic friend you have. I don't know anything. And immediately, instead of just addressing, oh, she's this friend, blah, 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 he said, oh yeah, it's this girl I met at XO bar, whatever the fuck. And he goes, you know what? I'll delete her number. I'll delete the message. She never existed. And she's like, what? What? That's an issue. Why would you just delete everything? And he's like, no. She means nothing, whatever. She's like, so is she a friend or is she not a friend? Like, I just have this weird feeling. And yeah. So the gut, definitely check your gut, but not a good situation to be in.
Yeah, it sounds like
to be continued too.
Yeah, especially as if he started like freaking out about that and like, oh no, she's nothing, then he's obviously that like that's a time when you'd be like, oh no, there's cheating going on. Like there might
There's
not
something.
there might not have been. Well, that's the thing. So is that cheating? Let's say let's finish the scenario. Let's finish the scenario. Let's say that they hadn't actually nothing had actually happened. Maybe he met her at a bar, they really got along well. You know, he bought her a drink, they talked, and all they've done is talk and flirted but heavy flirting. But they haven't actually made anything physical. Is that cheating?
In my eyes, the dishonesty is what really the cheating stems from. So for me, that's a yes.
Yeah, no,
because
I agree.
Because you didn't say, hey, I met this person at this place and I've been texting so and so. Like your partner being unaware of that entire relationship, even if it's platonic, is kind of an issue. And you saying I love you to someone that I think where she's hung up is the fact that he's saying I love you to another girl that's not a family member or her. And I'm like, I don't necessarily think that matters as much as the fact that you've been kept in the dark about it. I say I love you to other guy friends that I have. Sure, they're gay, but it's not an issue. Or I say I love you to a lot of my other friends. I don't say I love you to you. I don't know why. I just don't.
Yeah.
But even
I
if
think
I did,
we start out professionally, but it wouldn't be weird.
yeah.
And because most of my female friends, we were talking about this earlier. Most of my female friends, when I get a phone, I'm like, all right, love you, and like that's how I end my phone conversations with most of them. And yeah. Usually you and I get off the phone, we're like, all right, fuck you, and we get off the phone with each other.
Bitch, fuck, yeah,
okay,
really
bitch.
Yeah.
Or like, all right, suck my dick, and then we hang up the phone. So that's why it's a deeper type of love. You see that that's what that is.
I don't know if we could go to I love you because we're so used to being like hard with one another. Yeah.
Yeah. But so the love you part, although what that does show, especially if that's not his consistent behavior, what that does show is that he's reached some type of level of communication with this person that she has no idea who she is, and that is a problem. And I agree with you too that is cheating in my mind. That cheating doesn't mean you got your dick wet. It means that you are being unfaithful.
Mm-hmm.
And unfaithful.
There's secrecy behind every single action that she just uncovered. That's an issue.
Exactly. That's the unfaithful means that you have this need for whatever need you're getting fulfilled. You're doing it in secret, and you're doing it. You know that the person that you're with is not going to appreciate it or like it, and they're going to find it to be hurtful. And that's where the cheating comes in. Cheating doesn't. Someone can cheat without ever actually having sex or kissing somebody. Even like if they are intending to cheat, or if they are like laying the groundwork for cheating, that's still cheating.
Yep, I agree.
And that's not the same thing as like micro cheating though. And I figure we'll touch on that briefly and then like
I don't I feel like that could come across for some people as micro cheating. Is well they weren't cheating in my eyes cuz no sex was had, but there's some dishonesty so it was micro cheating. Where for me I'm like I think that was cheating.
Yeah, I think that was cheating. I think micro cheating might be a little bit scaled back, like him meeting the girl and getting her phone number at a bar. That's micro cheating. Like that's because nothing's happened beyond getting the phone number. You never know.
Is it micro cheating or is that just him being friendly though? Is the micro cheating him not telling her that they had that interaction?
Yes, I think that's probably what it is.
I think it's the
hiding of it.
I think okay, so then technically he's if it's based on that definition, then technically he's not cheating, it's just like a big micro cheating.
It's just one giant micro cheating, so it's a
I don't know, it
that
seems too big to be if it was just one action, I guess just that one action of
well, so if it's just the one action is he's always kind of almost cheating because he got a number or whatever. But like actually, like the fact that he continued the thing, I think, is where it becomes cheating,
Mhm.
in my opinion.
So, for
Um,
example, me, like, okay, so, and this is true. So, I want to say last year, an ex fling or whatever texted me while I was dating Master of None,
mhm.
something that was kind of sexually driven, and I saw it and was like, what the fuck? If I would have responded to that playfully and played it up, that would have been micro cheating. But I just
Yes,
never
that's
responded to that message. Also, I didn't tell him. I was like, there's nothing to say to this person. Like, cool, you thought of a song, you thought of a time where we were both fooling around, and you want to live up on our college days. Cool, cool story. But like, I'm on to something else, you know. But if I would have played up on it, that would have been micro
if you would have
cheating.
played up on it and just been like, "Hey, I'm dating somebody," and not said, "Hey, I'm dating somebody," or whatever, or just or ignored it or whatever, yeah, then I think that would have been micro cheating because it wouldn't have necessarily it was never going to lead to actual cheating. It was just more of like a, kind of your secret, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of what people consider micro cheating is what we're talking about as far as people being insecure. It's like this liking photos of people on Instagram. Like that's something that some people might call micro cheating, and I call them no, you're just being insecure, unless in the right context. But like it's also like some people who set up Tinder profiles and just swipe on Tinder for like the thrill of matching with people, even though
Ugh.
they have no desire to actually ever meet up with them,
What
and so
makes
they're
you think that's okay?
right. But I think that's another thing of micro cheating because you're not like actively cheating on someone. You're just doing something that the other person's not going to appreciate, and you're doing it with the expectation that you're never going to do anything, but it's not okay because it's hurtful at the same time.
Mm,
And that
yeah.
does violate boundaries. Like the Tinder swiping is definitely a violation. That was one thing that I think even when I have dated, obviously since I haven't really got anything committed in a while, like monogamous. But when I was dating, I always had to be like, well, I'm still going to be on dating apps, just so you know, for like the purpose of promoting the podcast. Like that's the thing. But I haven't been anything monogamous where it was really a big deal.
Mhm.
But even then, it still didn't feel necessarily right when I was dating someone to be like using the apps at all because it felt like it wasn't
Disingenuine.
yeah, yeah, exactly, and it wasn't faithful to the person that I wanted to be with.
The second you have that feeling of, "Damn, I'm kind of ignoring or selling that other person short that I'm with and I like," that's when you know you're in the wrong. And
Yes.
that's when it's micro cheating, or if it's compounded over time, then it is cheating.
Yeah, I agree. What else do you wanna say about it?
I don't know, just don't be as shitty as we've been in our past. And if you're having an insecurity, don't let it fester, just get it out and talk to your partner about it because that's probably gonna solve a lot of the issues that could be happening in the future by saying, "Hey, I'm afraid of the next step in our relationship. Hey, I think we have different sexual desires. Hey, I'm struggling with low self-esteem. Hey, I'm really pissed that you fucking did XYZ, so you don't go and revenge cheat on," it's actually vocalizing and thoughtfully communicating what issues you're having instead of just acting.
Yeah, that's very true. It is funny, one thing I don't know if you ever knew this, but when I was first dating, my ex-wife, when I was first dating Amy, we were just chatting, and she was saying that she never really thought marriage made sense or monogamy in general. She's like, I just feel like, people are different and sometimes have different needs. And like, I don't really think it's a big deal for someone to like have a need to go out and like maybe be with somebody else just to kind of keep their actual relationship fresh. And
Mhm.
this was years ago before poly was like a popular thing too. But it's funny that like I wonder if I had said to her, if I had actually
I'm cool
had
with
the
that.
communication skills, hey, do you remember when you said that? Like, did you mean that? Like, because I feel like maybe we are at a place right now where we need to talk about these things and I wonder how she would have dealt with it. I think she was kind of like, young and just like being hypothetical back then. And now she's like, now that we were married, like, she's secure and doesn't want anything to, disrupt the relationship. But she actually said that, and it was really interesting to me. And I don't know, like, I really don't know what would have happened if I had communicated that to her. She might have just been like, "Oh no, I don't believe that anymore," or she might have said, "No, that actually means something to me." Like, yes, I
We could
agree with
try it
that.
out and see.
Let's try it out if that means our relationship continues. If that's a big issue. And so I think communication is a big part of this too. That if you're feeling unfulfilled in some way in your relationship, try to talk about your partner before you go out and cheat. Like, try to get it out in some way. I
We
know
don't
it's
want
hard.
you to go out and cheat, but
Right. Yeah.
people are going to do it.
But it's scary to communicate these things sometimes. But like, it's scary. It's scary. But you know what? It's better, having been there. It's better than deciding to cheat and then having to go through the communication part later when either you get caught or someone else gets caught. That's not nearly as much fun as having that weird, awkward conversation where you talk about things that maybe you should have talked about anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you have a feeling you should communicate it, just go ahead and do it and rip the Band-Aid off. Because if you don't, your relationship's probably going to end anyways.
Yes.
I mean, not to be more, sad and
Right.
depressing about relationships ending, but it's like if you don't communicate the things that are lacking in your relationship, even if you don't cheat, the relationship's still going to end because you didn't vocalize what your issues were.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're running rampant with insecurities, make sure you talk about them. That'll make them a lot easier to handle, and your partner might be really understanding about it. And I think that might help with this whole, need to see if something's cheating or makes you feel bad too.
Yeah, I'm insecure about a lot of shit that I like tell Master, and he's like, "Are you serious? You're
Yeah.
insecure about that, or are you serious? Have I told you about this? Is a way off topic. Have I told you about how my high schoolers used to make fun of my knees?
No.
Oh, now you're gonna make fun of me. It used to be something I was really insecure about because I had a bunch of a fucking high school team
Are
of
they like
kids.
really hairy or something?
No, when I would stand and coach, my knees looked like they had faces on them, and so they would shit on me and go, "Who's talking? Is it Sarah or Sarah's knees?" And it really, like, I was like, "Can I get knee replacement to have my knees not look like they have faces on them?" It was actually something that I was for at least a year, I was, like, fucking bullied by these goddamn kids, and it was a joke, but at the same time, it wasn't a joke because it was really fucking starting to get to me that I
Oh my
became insecure
god.
about how my knees looked of all fucking
You should
things.
have just drawn faces on them one day and walked out there, and then they would have never talked about it again.
But I wasn't the same person I am now, where
Yeah.
I have my high schoolers comment on shit going, "I see knees on your faces," and I'm just like, "Yeah, her name is Sally," or whatever, and I'll
Right,
be
right, right.
but
Yeah.
but I couldn't do that back then because I just clammed up and was so insecure about it.
Wow. No, I did not know that. And I am
Yeah.
really glad that you shared that with me.
Now you're gonna poke fun at my knees.
I might not. I don't know.
Now you're
It's a.
gonna see a photo on Instagram of my knees and be like, "Oh, Sally and Sue, there's 2 fucking knees."
I wonder if any of your high schoolers have listened to the podcast and
A
like,
long time ago,
did you hear
probably.
Miss G? She's talking about she's talking about sucking dick now.
That's true. I'm sure the parents are thinking, "What the fuck? Glad she's not
Oh,
working for the high school anymore."
right. That's pretty awesome. But no, I appreciate that that knee slapper of a story. That's that's fantastic. If you want to hear our original cheating episode, you can actually find it. Like I said, we said in our archives on Patreon, where for $5 a month you can really help support us. It makes a big difference because we have expenses with this, and it just shows that you enjoy all the effort we put out. And that's at patreon.com/DKS podcast. You can also watch this episode if you haven't, if you're not already on YouTube at youtube.com/dating kind of sucks.
If you have questions about your own personal dating life, want to share a shitty meme or two, you can also join. Don't share a shitty meme though.
Yes,
You
please
can
don't share shitty
you
names.
can also join our Facebook group at facebook.com/group/DKS podcast, where we've added a lot of members recently. So that's been great to get some more interaction in there. That group is very interactive and always growing. As we mentioned at the top of the episode about our TikToks, you can follow me at Simply Sarah G on TikTok and Instagram, or you can follow Adam on TikTok. He's a lot cooler, you know, Bacon Man over here at Adam Heavitable on TikTok, and then Avitable on Instagram.
Everywhere else. Yeah, everywhere else.
Literally everywhere else. And then, of course, we do have our Dating Kinda Sucks Instagram at Dating Kinda Sucks, where we just post episode shit because we focus more on TikTok. So if you really want to see us on a daily basis with new content, check us out on TikTok.
You're not too old for TikTok, I promise. You should join it. It is where all the cool kids hang out now. It's a fun place to be. It really is. You can also email us if you have any questions or you want some advice or anything like that at datingkindasuckspodcast@gmail.com. And of course, we have all of our episodes except for the ones we've archived at datingkindasucks.com. And with that, we will be back in a couple of weeks, hopefully with a live, not a live
We'll have
episode,
a bonus episode.
Yeah. We'll do an in-person episode, hopefully with Sarah and I. At least maybe it might be a mini one. We'll see what we do, how much time we can actually do, or how loud the bar is, or whatever. But we'll be back in a couple of weeks with a normal episode as well. And thank you for listening.
Until next time. I got so nervous talking about my friend because this literally just happened today that I'm like, how much do I need to cut out?
Well, does she actually listen?
No, but I still feel bad about it.
Oh.
I mean, I lied. They've been together like 8 months, but still.
Oh, okay.
With the wrestling thing.
Oh, that part of it, yeah.
That part of it's pretty telling. The other stuff doesn't really matter.
Whether you're married or single or poly or ace, or hanging out with swingers back at your place, listen to us as we get no buff on Tinder and Bumble and plenty of yucks, trying and having the luck, because we all know
the video
dating kinda sucks. Sarah and Adam are two of a kind. He says stupid shit and she doesn't mind. They're not doing this so they make any luck.
No, you were just chicken who's feathers, they flux.
Why does it work?
That was I
when they both know.
Okay,
Dating kinda sucks.
Yeah, parts really hard.
Yeah.
Make a downtown trip for the headphones. No. Do we still wear headphones?
Nah.
Dating kinda sucks.
Let me stop the recording here.